Hello, my name is Katie Kammler, an MU Extension Horticulture Specialist, and today's topic is planning for insect management in cucurbit crops. So the reality of growing any cucurbit crops is that we are going to have insect issues, and we need to plan for those insect issues in order to combat them. So with any pests in any specialty crop situation, we need to learn our basic pests that can be a problem. So the first one is cucumber beetle. So in Missouri, we have two forms. We have the striped form that's shown on the left and the spotted form. And cucumber beetles can be a problem because not only do they cause damage by feeding, in this case, they're feeding on blossoms, they also can feed on the leaves. And another issue with cucumber beetles is they can carry a disease called bacterial wilt and spread it from plant to plant. Squash vine borer is another common pest that we see. In this one, the adult moth is in that lower left-hand corner, and its problem is that it lays eggs and that larva bores into the stem and disrupts the plant processes and causes plant death. So you can see that borer in the stem in those pictures. And borers can be difficult to control because we don't have a good way to get to them. Aphids are another common problem, and in this picture, we actually can see some aphids on this leaf, but we also see the beneficial ladybug larvae, and lots of those on the leaf feeding on those aphids. And that distorted leaf is from aphid feeding, so there were lots and lots of aphids on this. Some emerging pests that I've seen in the last few years, this is a squash beetle. So it looks kind of like a bigger lady beetle, which is a beneficial. However, this one, the adult and this larva is on the backside of the leaf here in the center. You can see those feeding on the leaves. Melonworm is also a southern pest that we've been seeing more of in recent years. And it can do damage to stems and the pumpkins themselves. And since this is an uncommon pest here, we don't necessarily have good control measures laid out for it. Now, those are the pest insects. We also rely on our beneficial insects for pollination in any of our cucurbit crops. So cucurbits have male and female flowers. They are separate. So you can see the female flower with the squash underneath it. The male flower goes directly to the stem. So we rely on our pollinators. So that could be honeybees, it could be bumblebees. In here is a squash bee. And in that same picture with that squash bee, you also see that squash beetle and a cucumber beetle. So pests and our beneficials are there together, which means we need to be careful on applying insecticides. So pollination occurs from bees visiting those flowers. And as I said, a lot of my pollination occurs from bumblebees. And in this case, that is a squash bee flying in. So insect control options. We have quite a few options available depending on what the insect is. So the Midwest Vegetable Production Guide is our best resource on that. You can print out the cucurbit section. I like print versions, or you can go specific to pick your crop, then pick your pest problem, and then pick a control measure. Also, University of Arkansas has a great Arkansas Common Cucurbit Problems that has really good images and control measures for homeowners to commercial production. Just remember, when spraying insecticides, we want to spray when the flowers are closed to protect our pollinators. So you can see here that the flowers are actually closed. And we can spray and get good coverage under the leaves in order to provide that control of our pest insects while not harming our pollinators. And just remember with any insect management program that all of our pesticides have chemical families, and we really want to switch chemical families. So planning out that spray program ahead of time in order to prevent resistance. So in this case, the IRAC codes are the insecticide codes that will tell different chemical families, and you can plan your spray schedule around that to prevent our problem insects.